Watch.
This is Janice George, the leading mayoral candidate, discussing teen curfews. I want you to listen to her answer.
So as a former prosecutor, I understand that we have to use various tools. And I think what happened at Chipotle was absolutely unacceptable, right? And I think when kids are doing these teen takeovers.
For those of you that have been watching the channel for a while, Chipotle is the scene of the teen takeover. I went down to the teen takeover scene at the Chipotle, and you can see that on the channel.
And they're leading to violence or destruction of property. It is absolutely unacceptable. And I think we as a city have to do more to prevent these things from happening. And I also believe that young people have to be accountable for actions when they take those type of actions, right? And I voted for curfews in the past as a tool, so I'm not totally against them. What I have been saying is, as an executive and as a leader, you have to make a decision about which tools you implement and when you implement them. And I feel strongly that the implementation right now is very dangerous. And
that's interesting that she says very dangerous, and you have to say what makes a curfew dangerous, particularly if you voted for them in the past. And listen what she has to say.
That's because I've been on the ground, right? Not for the photo op or press conference. I went down to Navy Yard because I wanted to just see what was happening just on an everyday basis. And we have federal law enforcement who is, like, DC can't stop them, enforcing juvenile curfew, Trump's troops, and
So what you're hearing from her, to boil it all down, is that she's resisting curfew to resist Trump. She'll let the teens run wild solely to resist Trump.
ICE agents and HSI.
This is all Trump related.
My point is this, right? You got to choose when you use your tools. And if you have different federal police departments and agents in our city, they are not trained in de-escalation. We know that they are not accountable to the council or government.
And so this is, again, the hypocritical nature of blacks. They're expecting the police to be trained in de-escalation. But they support someone. If you touch him, he can kill you.
There's no oversight over it. And so the question is, do you use a tool like this when you know that it is going to be enforced by federal law enforcement troops and agents that...
And she's probably not going to say enforced on black people. That's what she doesn't want. This is the group of blacks that are caping for the degenerate blacks. They have to protect them. And she, in her power as a council member and soon to be mayor, she's protecting the young blacks from Trump's troops, even from a curfew. She does not want them to be held accountable. This is the same black mindset that supported Cyrus Belton at 14 carrying a gun, Carmelo carrying a knife. The same black mindset, and she'll now be running the city of Washington, D.C.
Are not trained in de-escalation, who are not accountable to D.C. residents. And we know that there have been shootings that have occurred where D.C. residents have been killed. I'm a mom too, right? My biggest...
And this is the bigger point. You heard the other lady in one of the other videos, she said, I'm a black mother first. This lady is a black child. So she sees herself as black mom first, above anything else.
Fear is, do we hand over our youth to federal troops?
Right, you see that? There you go, to federal troops, Trump's troops, she's saying. So she's preventing the curfew to stymie Trump from enforcing it or to even assist in enforcing it. She's letting the blacks run wild to get back at Trump. This is the destructive nature of blacks.
And ICE agents, do we do that?
A lot of people would say, listen, you got 1,000 kids. Like, you and me have both been teenagers,
Yeah.
right? And I did some dumb stuff when you were the youth mayor. Maybe you didn't. But the point is, if you get 1,000 people together, some percentage of them are going to be knuckleheads. Why not empower the authorities to say, move along?
We have empowered our law enforcement to do that work, and they can do that work. What happened in Chipotle was criminal activity.
But what we've seen amongst the D.C. Police Department is that they will apprehend the criminals and then let them go, all the while punishing residents who've had their property stolen. There's no recompense for them, but the criminals, they get let free.
And so I hope that...
I documented it right here on this channel. The National Guard said they caught a guy stealing a moped, and D.C. police came and let him go.
Police department and the Attorney General's office are working together. That's what I've asked, for them to work together to figure out who are those responsible people, because those workers and the families who are there don't deserve to have been in that experience. So my point is, we don't have to give federal law enforcement troops and ICE agents tools to use against our children, because we have the tools we need as a city.
But they're not willing to use them. or they're using them to protect and hide true face and nature of their children. We don't see the true face of the black children until they show up in court or in a cemetery and the blacks are blaming someone for taking out their trash.
To help protect our children and to get them to better third spaces, right?
I want to talk for a second.
And that was Janice George, the likely next mayor of Washington, D.C., and she can't hold the blacks accountable. She wants to change laws, not enforce curfews and things like that. And I guess maybe she has a point. It's not the city's place to enforce curfews, it's the parents' place. But she knows that the parents are not going to be responsible. They can't be held responsible. So in effect, she allows the young black teens to run wild and destroy newly built neighborhoods where affluent people come in and pay taxes. This is an extreme example of the tragedy of the commons. And this is John Galt bringing it to you. Thank you for joining.